Welcome to Tractor and Timber. I'm Nick. Today we're going to be doing an HST service on this BX24. First thing we need to do though is get the backhoe off. So what we're going to do is actually put the bucket on the ground and put some downforce on it to help take some pressure off the pins on the deck. You can work these pins out. The first one came out pretty easy. The second one was a little sticky. Just play around with the downforce, find what's right. Now that the pins are out, we can relieve some of that pressure. That's going to pull the deck away from the back of the tractor, which will allow us to lift it up. And you can see now that it's actually come off the tractor on the top and we're ready to lift up the bottom. So let's set the outriggers down and pull it up off. Now I went pretty slow here just because this was my first time taking the backhoe off. I think if I did it again I'd go a little quicker, but you can see here in a second where it actually pops out of there and we're free to drive forward. So coming up now, and now we are free. So now what we can do is just drive forward a couple of inches, give us some space to work with, and we'll disconnect the hydraulic lines. There's a nice little place to put those pins there in the deck. Great place to store them so you don't lose them. And when you disconnect the hydraulic lines, there are caps attached there, and you'll see that I attempt to put a couple of those on. As these come off, the two lines that have the 90s on the end of them, those are going to stay with the backhoe, and then there's one straight line that actually gets hooked back into the back of the tractor. Pro tip, if you're trying to put those caps on, just pull the collar back. They go in a whole lot easier. All right, so now we're ready to bring the tractor down to the garage and get to work. All right, now that we have the backhoe removed, we're going to drain all the fluid and replace it with UDT2, and I also have a new filter here from Kubota, HHK20-36990 transmission filter from Kubota. So let's crawl underneath and pull the plug and take the filter off.
All right, so pulled the old filter off here, cleaned up the surface where that new filter is going to go back on. Next, we're going to pull the drain plug. All right, the next thing we're going to check is the strainer, which you can see is right back here. It's just one screw that holds it in. It's a 12 millimeter. You unscrew that, and then the whole strainer pulls out, and you can clean it off. There it goes. You can see that strainer is pretty dirty. So we'll clean it off and blow it out and get it back in. Meanwhile, all right, we got the drain plug out. Just letting it finish draining. We'll put the plug back in, replace the strainer, and put the new filter on. All right, so we're about done draining. I'm gonna put this plug back in. Alright, got that snugged up. Come over here and we'll put our strainer back in. We want to line up this channel here with the bolt that comes in and holds it in place. Give it a couple of taps. There we go. Line that back up. Tighten that up with a 12 millimeter. Nice and snug. That looks good. We can get it on camera right down here. And next we'll come over and we'll put that filter in. I'll just put a little oil on top here. Put a little bit in the filter. Save this for later. Put that on hand tight, about as tight as you can by hand, and we'll go top it off. Again, we're using UDT2 Super Performance from Kubota. Got this from my dealer. They said it takes 3 gallons and 3 quarts. So we will fire away. We are getting pretty full in here. So I'm going to start it up a little bit, let it circulate some, and then we'll top it off.
Alright, so now we're going to get the backhoe back on, and it's really the whole process in reverse. So we backed it in until we got it onto those bottom hooks. It's like a U-shaped hook. And now we're going to add some pressure onto the arm of the backhoe to push those top holes back up so we can get the pins back through. And for some reason this left side is just a little sticky. I actually had to hit it with a log a couple times to get it seated, but the right side went in just fine. And that's it. So now we can pull up the outriggers, and then we'll put the backhoe back in place and drop in those locking pins. Thanks guys for following along. If you have any comments, drop them below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks.